his punching power and his physical size is the only thing that I really have to worry about. But who knows? Once we get in the ring, we don't know how I'll handle his punching power, his size. I've been fighting bigger guys my whole life, so I'm pretty familiar with.
What do you think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo?
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know, and
Terence Crawford has officially started training camp to face Canelo Alvarez on September 13th in Las Vegas. It's not just any camp. According to those close to him, Crawford already has a full game plan locked in. He's not improvising. He's not just hoping to survive the size difference. He's coming to win. His team believes this is the fight where Crawford will prove he's the most complete boxer in the sport, and they say Canelo has never seen a challenge like this before. However, boxing pros are still throwing in warnings, so let's catch you up.
That Crawford is going to fight Canelo, because even if I have some doubts and misgivings about the size matchup, it is two action fighters who like to fight aggressively at times, not all the times, going against each other, and we'll see who can open the other person's tuna can, so to speak.
Bernie the Boxer Davis, one of Crawford's closest allies, made it clear in a recent interview, no sparring partner can simulate Crawford, no one can copy his movements, his ability to switch stances, or his sense of timing. Davis isn't talking about typical fight hype. He's confident because he's seen Crawford operate behind the scenes, and according to him, Crawford's style is something Canelo can't prepare for, not fully.
I've been beating up big dudes all my life.
Because they underestimate your bud.
It's just, even if they didn't, I'm gonna beat you up. You know, I can fight.
Right.
You know, so if you watch, like, all these dudes bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care, but I'm gonna find a way to win, no matter what.
In September, are you gonna pull this? I shook up the world. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
Definitely. That's definitely gonna be.
Crawford's plan revolves around controlling tempo and space. This won't be a slugfest. He knows that going toe-to-toe with Canelo would be a mistake. Instead, Crawford is working on staying mobile, using feints, angles, and keeping Canelo guessing. He's not just switching stances to show off, he does it because it throws fighters off their rhythm. Canelo thrives on rhythm. He needs his opponents in front of him, standing still long enough for him to plant and throw.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, you know, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, you know, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height-wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Corey, how you got a decision to stop it?
Crawford's camp says that's not going to happen. Some fans and analysts have suggested Crawford will try to fight like Mayweather did in 2013, move, counter, and frustrate Canelo over 12 rounds. But people close to Crawford say he's aiming to do more than that. They say he's not going in there to squeak out a decision. He's going in to beat Canelo clearly, round by round, using tools that Mayweather didn't even need to rely on. At the same time, not everyone is buying into the Crawford hype. Critics point to the size difference. Canelo has fought comfortably at 168 for years, while Crawford is coming up from 147. Even though Crawford has stopped nearly everyone he's faced in recent years, this will be a different kind of challenge. He'll be dealing with a naturally bigger, stronger man who can absorb punishment and walk forward through it.
What do we always tell boxing casuals? The sport is called boxing, not knockout. Listen to Bud Crawford explain how he beats Canelo Alvarez.
I don't gotta stop him. I just gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys is slower, so they might
Trainer Stephen "Breadman" Edwards addressed the danger Crawford faces, but also why he thinks people are underestimating him. In a talk with Fight Hub TV, Edwards said Crawford's timing is special and his layoff won't hurt him at all. Edwards pointed out how Crawford never looks rusty, no matter how long he's out of the ring. That's rare. And when asked whether Canelo could be hurt, Edwards was blunt. Anyone can be hurt. He named fighters like Duran and Holyfield, guys known for their chins, who eventually got clipped. It only takes one clean shot, especially when it's timed perfectly. Crawford, he said, has that kind of timing.
Canelo got a great chin though, but anybody could be hurt on any given night. Don't ever think a guy can't be hurt, man. Ever think some of the best chins I've ever seen have been clipped. Holyfield, Duran, anybody could be clipped, man. Anybody could get hurt, anybody could go down. It can happen to anybody. Don't ever believe that.
What do you think about the layoff?
Crawford?
Yeah.
It's always a fact. It's always a factor, but every time he lays off, he never looks rusty.
Stays in the gym.
Yeah, it's fact. He's one of them guys that never look rusty. So I don't really. It applies to a lot of fighters, but he defies the logic behind that because he don't look rusty with his layoffs.
What makes him so special?
Oh man, I don't think you got enough time in.
Manny Pacquiao also gave his take. At first, he brushed off the fight with a short comment, "Good for Canelo." But when pressed, he gave Crawford a simple piece of advice: rely on speed and style. Pacquiao knows about fighting bigger men. He beat guys who outweighed him by a lot because he didn't let them set their feet. He believes Crawford's best shot is the same. Don't exchange, don't plant, don't stand still. Keep moving, keep the hands going. Make it a chess match, not a brawl.
Manny, what do you think about Canelo versus Crawford? Crawford's moving up like 20 pounds. What do you think?
Good. Good for Canelo.
Good for Canelo?
That's easier said than done though. Canelo's biggest strength right now is his composure. He's been in 60+ fights. He doesn't panic. His output may have slowed down in recent bouts, but he still lands the heavier, cleaner punches, and judges respect that. Even when he's not throwing in volume, he's winning rounds by landing 1 or 2 clean body shots or uppercuts. Crawford's team knows this and is planning around it. Crawford has to land cleaner, more often, and stay out of range when Canelo counters. He can't let the crowd or the judges get swayed by a few big moments from Canelo.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. doesn't think any of that matters. He believes this fight is a mismatch. He's made it clear he expects Canelo to stop Crawford in 6 or 7 rounds. To him, this isn't about skill or IQ, it's about size. He thinks Crawford is jumping 2 weight classes for a payday, not for legacy. Chavez said, there are weight classes for a reason, and he's sticking to that. He's not alone either. A lot of old school boxing fans agree with him. They don't believe someone who started at 135 can just jump to 168 and beat Canelo, who's not just comfortable there, he's dominant.
Hay que ser en ese peso. Con todo respeto, él va por el dinero y Canelo lo va a noquear.
The 2 fighters are gonna be different weight classes, even though they're gonna fight on a specific weight. He believes that they're just going because of the money, Crawford. But probably Canelo is gonna knock him out.
Would you rather see Canelo fight Benavidez because of the weight is closer?
Crawford's never been knocked out. He's barely ever been in serious trouble. But Chavez and others think that will change on September 12th. The logic is simple. Canelo punches harder, he can walk through shots, and if he corners Crawford, he will land. And when he lands, smaller men fold. Chavez thinks this fight ends with Crawford on the canvas. Betting odds show Canelo as the favorite. At -195, the odds makers are giving him a clear edge. But they're not saying it's a blowout. Crawford is sitting at +155, which means the betting world respects his chances. A Canelo KO is currently listed at +330. It's not the most likely outcome, but it's a real possibility. What's surprising is how split the public is. Some fans think Crawford has the tools to pull off the upset. Others believe the weight difference will be too much.
Champion of the old school. Old school has to become new school. When he starts going up in weight to fight a Canelo, it's against the rules. If I drive 100 miles an hour in London, It's against the rules. As much as we may want to see a Canelo against a Crawford, the weights are wrong and so it cannot happen. The fight you should be looking for is a Chris Eubank Jr. against a Canelo. That makes sense. That I would back. You're from Brooklyn?
But behind all the talk, there's one fact. Crawford is already training. Not experimenting, training with a specific plan. People in his gym say it's different, focused, clean. Seriously, there's no dancing around the challenge. Crawford knows what he's facing. He's not pretending to be the bigger man. He's just planning to be the better one. He's working on keeping Canelo off balance, firing quick, sharp punches, getting in and out, changing looks, making it impossible for Canelo to get comfortable. His team believes if Canelo can't settle in, he'll get frustrated. And when he gets frustrated, he's less accurate, less confident, and more likely to lunge or load up. That's when Crawford counters. That's the moment he's waiting for, not to knock Canelo out with one punch, but to pick him apart slowly.
With Crawford going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo.
Canelo, I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia, it's even. I think.
And that's the key to Crawford's mindset. He's not trying to do what Bivol did with pure size. He's not trying to mimic Mayweather either. He's using everything he's ever learned and adding one more level. His camp says he's not preparing to survive. He's preparing to dominate. His belief is that no matter what Chavez or the public says, skill and intelligence will overcome size. This isn't just another payday for Crawford. According to his team, this is a legacy. He could have stayed at 147. He could have taken easier fights. Instead, he's taking on the biggest name in boxing, in the biggest weight jump of his career because he sees something others don't. He sees vulnerability, not in Canelo's chin, not in his power, in his ability to deal with change. Canelo adapts well, but Crawford adapts better. That's the entire game plan.
Did y'all think Canelo looked a lot like smaller, like muscular, different?
Old?
That was all you saw? Old? He definitely looked old. I don't know. I thought I saw him and Crawford do the face off in the ring, and I thought, yo, why does this man look, every time I see them face off, they look closer and closer in size?
Bro, they're not closer in size. Y'all so gullible with that.
I'm not saying that they're close.
Crawford's not at fight weight, remember. Canelo was
no,
at
that's
fight
true. Very true.
Weight. Crawford got to put
saying,
that
though,
weight
the
on,
different...
take it off, and
No matter what happens in the ring that night, Crawford's approach is locked in. His training camp is built around repetition and discipline. There's no wild strategy, no last-minute shifts. He knows what he wants to do, and he's drilling it every day. He's not rushing into new weight without preparation. Word from the gym is that he's adding size the smart way, staying fast, staying sharp, not bulking unnecessarily. He's building a body that can carry 168 while still moving like a welterweight.
Bud, Canelo, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it can go either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that's worked the weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
Canelo is the favorite for a reason. He's proven at the weight. He's faced the biggest names. He's absorbed the hardest shots. But Crawford has never looked at odds or predictions as something to fear. He thrives on doubt. That's part of his edge. In his mind, this isn't about proving people wrong. It's about doing what he already believes is possible. The plan is set. The training has started. Crawford isn't talking about what he's going to do. He's doing it.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that.
Coach Kenny Ellis isn't just backing Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez. He's painting a clear picture of domination, precision, and a performance that will look more like a science demonstration than a boxing match. In his own words, Crawford will dissect Canelo, picking him apart piece by piece, inside and out like a surgeon. Or, as Ellis put it, like a biology teacher laying out a diagram of the human body. Ellis believes this won't be a close decision, nor a controversial one. He's calling it a wide tactical schooling over 12 rounds, with Crawford controlling every moment of the fight.
Crawford, Canelo, who you got?
Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yeah.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should try and test the waters, even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey.
Ellis doesn't believe Canelo will get knocked out. His chin is too strong, his experience too deep. But none of that, he says, will save him from being picked apart by a sharper, smarter fighter. Crawford, now 37-41-0, is stepping into a different weight class to meet a man who has walked through divisions like a tank, but that doesn't faze Ellis. To him, it's not about power. It's about brains, speed, angles, control. And Crawford has all of that in abundance.
Crawford he don't sell like that. And Canelo really don't sell like that. He do good if he was a regular boxer, but for the money that he wants, those ain't good numbers. That's why he went on here to make that jump over to Turkey. Bomac the other day came out and said something about he don't want them to rob Crawford, because basically what he's saying is we gonna box him, we ain't going there to knock him out.
Of course not. Who expected him to go in and knock out the man they've never been knocked out?
Likening Crawford's game plan to a detailed anatomy lesson. This is the kidneys. This is the lungs. This is Adam's apple. He doesn't see Canelo keeping up with the rhythm or matching the ring IQ. This isn't just a fan prediction. It's a boxing veteran calling it exactly how he expects it to go down. Clear, clinical, and brutal in its own quiet way. Ellis also pointed out what many are already whispering. Canelo didn't take this fight for legacy. He took it for the $150 million offered by Turki Al-Sheikh. Without that kind of payday, Ellis suggests the fight wouldn't exist. It's crazy, he said of the purse. And even crazier, he added, is that Alvarez reportedly wants $200 million for a fight with David Benavidez. I don't know if that money is going to be there once Crawford gets done with him.
It's $150 to fight Crawford. You know, that's a lot of money.
That's a whole lot.
150 just to fight Crawford.
That's
a guy that's going to be moving up 2 weight divisions. You know, shoot. You know, and I think what he said, he wanted like 200 for David Benavidez. So, shoot, look like the money's there for all that, you know?
Shit is crazy, but I don't know if it's going to be there.
That comment carries weight. Ellis implies that after Crawford dismantles him, Canelo's market value might drop. Not because he'll lose by knockout, but because of how thoroughly he might get exposed. That kind of performance changes everything. It dents aura. It shakes fans. It could, if Ellis is right, signal the beginning of the end of Canelo's myth as an unbeatable tank at super middleweight. And the risk is bigger than just this fight. If Crawford, naturally smaller, controls him for 12 rounds, it opens up questions about how Alvarez might fare against the younger, stronger, and more aggressive Benavidez. That's a legacy fight, but it's also a career risk.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's...
Getting clipped and stopped by a guy like Benavidez could stick with Canelo forever. Crawford might box circles around him, but Benavidez could end him. And that's the one loss no champion wants on his resume. Meanwhile, Crawford has put everything on the line for this moment. He's delayed retirement. He's chased this fight for over a year. And now that he has it, he's showing up everywhere with quiet confidence. He got a massive ovation at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, proof that his star is rising beyond the purest boxing circles. That moment wasn't just about fame. It was about momentum, about energy, about narrative. Crawford is stepping into this fight not just with skill, but with a story the crowd can feel.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down.
Boxing insider Rick Glazer, a longtime supporter of Crawford, is leaning fully into the Bud narrative. He sees the potential win not just as a big moment, but as a career-defining final act. He believes Crawford will win, take the contracted rematch, win again, and walk away into retirement undefeated. There won't be any comebacks, Glazer said. Terence Crawford goes off into the sunset. Then, to remind everyone that predictions don't win fights, he added, "Enjoy your Monday." A wink to reality, because for all the hype, no one knows how it will really go until the bell rings. But inside news from the camps could also be shaping expectations. Dominique Crowder, an undefeated prospect from Baltimore, dropped a small bomb in a recent interview. He said he has a friend in Canelo's camp, and according to that friend, Canelo is looking slow on his feet. That's not just talk, that's a concern when going up against a master of movement like Crawford. Crowder believes that Canelo's footwork could be his downfall. Crawford's real good on his feet, he said. He can outbox him. But even Crowder isn't naive. He knows Canelo only needs one shot. He compared it to chopping down a tree. You keep swinging until it falls. Canelo's power and precision are real, and his timing can cancel out a fighter's rhythm in an instant.
I mean, it's too early to tell, but like, I feel like it's being set up in a way for Bud Crawford to be either the GOAT or, you know, Canelo is great again. And I mean, Canelo's been great. He's still been winning his fights, but, you know, Bivol gave him problems.
That's what makes this fight more than a simple matchup of slickness versus strength. Crawford's supporters talk about IQ, speed, rhythm, and footwork. Canelo's fans point to grit, power, and the ability to make a moment count. One slip, one pause, one mistimed pivot. That's all Canelo needs to turn the tide, but right now the buzz is tilting toward Crawford. Not in Vegas odds, but in tone, in energy, in belief. But how do you see it going? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.